she secretly read her husband's diary. Only then did she realize the one he truly loved was her own aunt, and she was only chosen as a stand-in for looking like her aunt. Even the devoted care he showed after marriage was only meant to get her pregnant quickly, so she could bear a child who looked like her aunt. This truth was too much for the woman to bear, but since her husband was so obsessed with her aunt, the woman decided to fulfill their love. The next day she prepared divorce papers and an abortion consent form and tricked her husband into signing. Then she went to the hospital alone and had the procedure done. Her husband knew nothing about it. Just then the woman received a call from her uncle. Her uncle said her aunt had just returned from abroad and hoped she would come to the old house. The woman wanted to refuse, but her husband grabbed the phone and accepted the invitation for her. The woman watched his barely concealed excitement and said nothing. She simply went back to the old house with him. Before entering, he reminded her to mind her manners. Then he took out a carefully prepared gift and asked the woman to give it to her aunt as a greeting. The woman had long seen through his intentions, yet still took the gift inside and handed it to her aunt personally. Seeing her aunt's delighted expression, the woman knew how much thought her husband had put into this gift. At the dinner table, her husband still attentively served food to the woman. The elders all remarked how lucky she was to marry such a gentle, caring husband. Only the woman knew his mind was elsewhere. The table was piled with meat dishes. Her husband had forgotten she couldn't touch these foods during pregnancy, but he clearly remembered her aunt loved seafood. Then the usually disciplined husband got drunk for the first time ever. Clearly her aunt's return had excited him beyond measure. That night the woman noticed her husband wasn't in the room. She went looking and found he had rushed off to catch up with her aunt. But her aunt tried to keep her distance due to their awkward relationship. This completely enraged the man. He confessed his love to her aunt frantically, claiming his wife was merely her aunt's substitute. Only by marrying his wife could he see her aunt openly, even the child in his wife's womb. He planned to name after himself and her aunt to express his feelings. The woman listened from the shadows, her heart torn to pieces. Her resolve to leave grew even stronger. The next day, the woman accompanied her aunt to visit her parents' graves. Her husband, who should have been at work, suddenly appeared and joined them. This scene reminded the woman of the day her father died. She had called her husband countless times, but every call was rejected. Later, in a photo sent by a friend, her husband was holding her aunt. She had thought there must be some misunderstanding. Only now did she finally understand. Her husband had gone abroad to chase her aunt on the day her father died, and now he was visiting her father's grave for the first time just to pursue her aunt. Sure enough, after the visit, her husband eagerly invited her aunt to dinner. The woman watched them chatting freely and couldn't help but feel bitter inside. At the restaurant, a waiter accidentally spilled hot soup. Her husband immediately pulled her aunt aside, but the woman was drenched in scalding broth. When she looked up, her husband didn't even glance at her. He just left with her aunt, completely ignoring her existence. Outside, her aunt tried to maintain boundaries with the husband, emphasizing that they had already broken up. She told him to go back and take care of his wife, but he remained obsessed. He said her aunt would always be first in his heart. Then her aunt suddenly noticed the girl standing not far away. Just as she was about to explain, the woman collapsed on the spot. When she woke, she was already in the hospital. She heard her husband telling the nurse that his wife was 3 months pregnant, so medication must be used carefully, but he didn't know the baby was already gone.